Drifting through the dark depths of space, the Vega 9 battleship moved slowly among the remnants of a shattered galactic empire. The stars that appeared in the darkness bore the scars of a long-fought war. Hannah Carter, the ship's most skilled sharpshooter, was once again preparing for the most dangerous mission. The weight of the metallic gun in her hand reminded her of the burden she had carried all her life, turning her back on her comrades. But this mission was different, because the target was none other than Rex Montrose, a former teammate she had once trusted more than anyone. As Hannah sat alone in the mission room, old memories flashed before her eyes. She and Rex had fought countless battles together. They had once been known as the deadliest sharpshooting duo in the galaxy, striking their enemies from the shadows in a single breath, their names spreading like a wave of terror. But everything changed overnight. Rex had disappeared suddenly during a mission, leaving everyone on the ship in the agony of betrayal. As she gazed out of the small window in the mission room, Captain Marshall's voice echoed through the radio. "Hannah, you know why we chose you for this mission. Rex knows you, and you know his weakest points. You're the only one who can finish this." The gun in Hannah's hand felt cold, just like the growing rage inside her. This had become personal. She would not only avenge the betrayal, but also confront her past. But one question lingered in her mind. Why did Rex do it? After all they had survived together, how could he have betrayed them? As the ship neared the planet where Rex was hiding, the silence grew deeper. Alcyon 5 had been an abandoned mining planet for years, a refuge for fugitives who had survived the horrific wars. As the ship approached the planet's surface, Hannah's breath quickened. On this desolate surface, she would hunt down the man she had once relied on. As soon as the ship landed, Hannah moved cautiously, her confidence as a sharpshooter unwavering. The planet's surface was barren and rocky. She navigated the vast caves and old mining shafts, trying to sense where Rex might be hiding. She knew his style. Rex was a man who could disappear like a shadow, but Hannah knew him just as well as he knew her. After an hour of tracking, she finally found the hideout. Hidden among ancient stones, she reached a structure marked by the encrypted messages they had once used together. She gripped her gun tightly, her finger carefully poised on the trigger. The silence was so thick she could hear her own heartbeat. As she stepped inside, a shadowy figure stood before her. "Rex," Hannah whispered, her voice echoing off the walls. She raised her gun. The target was right in front of her, but her finger hesitated on the trigger. For a moment, she looked into her old comrade's eyes. The trust and loyalty she once saw there had been replaced with something entirely different: deep regret and exhaustion. "Nothing is as it seems, Hannah," Rex said, his voice low but cold. "You didn't see the truth. You didn't see what this war has turned us into." Hannah's mind flooded with conflicted thoughts. Was this a lie, or was Rex telling the truth? Throughout the war, they had struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. Had they too been feeding off that same fear? For a moment she thought about the past, the times they had shared, the victories, the camaraderie. But now, that past was shattered. "I can't believe you," Hannah said, gripping her gun even tighter. "You left me and everyone else behind. You don't understand what you've done." Rex took a step closer. Hannah's hands began to tremble. She was torn between pulling the trigger and letting her old friend live. "I'm giving you a chance, Hannah," Rex said. "The war isn't over, but we need you on our side." After a moment of silence, Hannah looked into Rex's eyes. In that moment, she made her decision. She raised her gun and coldly pulled the trigger. The harsh sound of the gunshot echoed through the hideout. As Rex's body collapsed to the ground, Hannah felt the emptiness inside her growing. She had killed him. But this wasn't a victory. She didn't feel triumphant, only a deep sense of loss. She dropped the gun and looked down at Rex's lifeless body. The past they had shared, the battles they had fought together, ended in this moment, as his blood mixed with the dust on the ground. As she stared at Rex's lifeless body, a deep regret began to consume Hannah. She had pulled the trigger, killed her old friend, but it brought her no peace. The void inside her only grew deeper, hollowed out by the destruction of the war. In that moment, she realized something. Rex had been right. The war had been slowly destroying them all. As she returned to the ship, doubt grew within her. Her faith in the crew and in humanity was shaken. Something else was waiting for her, a greater truth hidden in the darkness of space. One night, she silently escaped the ship and made contact with the aliens Rex had spoken of. These beings had grasped the futility of war and offered a different path: peace. When she joined their side, Hannah became a stranger, fighting against her own kind, but she found an inner peace. Though the pain of killing Rex and losing her humanity gnawed at her, she was now part of a new purpose. She had embraced life as a foreigner in the vastness of space, breaking free from the chaos humans had created.